What's up, guys? Dutogiraikonoka here, and welcome to our card discussion of what has been newly basically spoiled or leaked or released, depending on how you want to state it, to the public. It is the Blackrock expansion for Hearthstone, and this is kind of exciting because we get a bunch of new cards. So yeah, basically Blackrock is going to end up like Naxxramas. There's not really any new card packs that you're going to have to go through. There's not as many cards being released as there was with GVG, but, yeah, basically it's a PvE adventure mode where you get cards for completing the whole PvE system. So, that's pretty cool. And what I'm going to have to be doing in Hearthstone now is ceasing to buy any packs so I can just get the Blackrock cards. One of the things about Blackrock that's kind of cool is, there's a lot more dragons in Blackrock. So, whereas GVG was kind of more goblins and gnomes, Blackrock is definitely going to have some dragons being released, according to Blizzard. So that'll be awesome. But there are 5 spoiled cards so far. So we're going to go over these. The first is Rend Blackhand. He's a 7-mana legendary minion. He's an 8/4, which is really actually terrible stats for a 7-drop, given that it dies to most 3 and 4 drops nowadays. I mean, if you look at Hunter, when you get, oh my god, Animal Companion, this will die to Huffer, it'll die to Misha, and if somebody gets Leok, then Knife Juggler takes it out. If you're looking at, Mech Mage, then, you know, a 3/4 Spider Tank trades with Rend, along with a Mage Ping. If you're looking at Priest, then, Injured Blade Master trades with it. All in all, just really not something you want for a legendary in terms of stats. It's really, really squishy. He does have a battle cry that is slightly redeeming, which is, if you're holding a dragon, destroy a legendary minion. I'm going to assume that this is random, because almost everything in Hearthstone is more random. So you're not destroying a targeted legendary minion. But that said, usually people don't have more than one legendary out at a time. I mean, the only instance I can really think of is when somebody's got, like, Lotheb and Sylvanas. And those are the only times where 2 legendaries hit the board at the same time. So, yeah, Rend will usually just hit 1 legendary, which is the only one your opponent has out. So, this is kind of a new mechanic being introduced too, with the whole if you're holding a dragon, which means if you have a dragon in hand. And we've never seen cards that interact based on what you have in your hand, directly affecting what the card does as it enters the battlefield. So that's new and that's exciting. But in terms of Rend himself, I feel like this is kind of like Myexna was from Naxxramas, where it's like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool, where it's got this whole let's kill things going on, but the stats are just unusable. So, kind of sad. The next card is Grim Patron. He's a 5-mana 3/3, which is absolutely terrible stats for a 5-drop. But his text is, whenever this minion survives damage, summon another Grim Patron, which will have the same text. So, this will be really cool as an interaction. But it has to be used with a specific class. Because most classes do not have a very good way to actually deal only 1 damage to a Grim Patron to make sure that a new one gets off. If you're going to trade with him, he's probably going to die to just about anything else, without even killing it. So in terms of trading, he's not going to work there. But if you have a good number of ways to deal just 1 damage to him, he becomes significantly better. And I think this is part of a push to get mid-range warrior going. Because if you use Grim Patron with cards like Matter Bomber, or Mad Bomber, or Whirlwind, or Death's Bite when it death rattles, you've got a lot of different ways with Warrior, or even for that matter, Cruel Taskmaster. Warrior's got a lot of ways to deal just 1 damage to its own minions, and most other classes do not have that. I guess you could make an argument for Warlock having Dread Infernal, but that's about it. Otherwise, most classes can't really damage their own minions reliably. But Warrior can, and so Grim Patron might be viable in a new kind of emerging mid-range warrior. I'm interested to see if that's viable or not. But It's certainly an interesting card. It already... I'm almost certain this card has a niche in only warrior decks of ever being playable. But I don't mind that. I mean, if you want to make some cool wombo combo stuff, that's what I'm all about. I love the wombo combos. That's why I'm still trying so hard to make Divine Spirit Priest work. I'm a combo player, and if you can get Grim Patron to summon like 5 other Grim Patrons, more power to you. I'm actually happy to lose to you. So, yeah. I think Grim Patron's really cool. I want to see where he goes, but I cannot guarantee that he'll be good. So, this is an interesting card to watch, in my opinion, but I don't think it's busted. I think it has the potential to win games, but busted, no. Cool, interesting, potentially very good, yes, not quite busted. Next up is Hungry Dragon, a 4-mana 5/6 dragon. That's ridiculous stats for a 4-drop. However, also notable is that it does have 5 attack instead of 4 attack. If this were a 4-mana 4/6, it would actually be better. And the reason for that is in this current meta, 4 health is kind of that niche spot for minions to be at that makes them durable, but, you know, still cheap. And on top of that, at 4 attack, priests have a lot of trouble dealing with the card. So, being a 5/6, this really, if this becomes an emerging minion for aggro decks, priest will just run more Shadow Word Deaths, and now instead of, like, against, I guess, Zoo, instead of just having Death Lord to use Shadow Word Death on, which is why you would only ever want 1 Shadow Word Death for those aggro matchups, if Hungry Dragon becomes frequently used in aggro decks, then you'll just run a second Death. And then it will be answered. It does have a battle cry as a drawback to these stats, of course, otherwise it'd just be a superior Yeti, of summon a random 1-cost minion for your opponent. This can bite you in the butt a little bit, because let's bear in mind that things like Dust Devil, Flame Imp, and against Mech Mage Cogmaster can all have 3 attack. And giving your opponent a 3 attack minion is not something you want to be doing. But, speaking of just how Priest has an easier time dealing with this, this is actually an amazing Priest minion itself, because the entire Priest thing is dealing with small minions if it wants to. So you could use Shadow Madness, Cabal Shadow Priest, Shadow Word Pain, and Shrinkmeister, and basically this would just enhance the whole Steel Priest deck archetype, because now you have a 4-mana Hungry Dragon that's just this big beater of a minion to help you clear away the few minions your opponent summons that you can't use Shadow Madness and Cabal on and all that. And not only does it do that, but it gives your opponent a minion which you can take from them to use against them. And even if it's a 3-attack minion, Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Madness still hit that. So, I actually think Hungry Dragon has a real place in Theft Priest decks to help them. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, I really do like Hungry Dragon. I'm curious to see exactly where he falls into. I think there will be a Steel Priest deck archetype that runs him that could be pretty good. But yeah, he's interesting. Yeah. The other cool thing is if it summons like a kind of really bad 1-mana cost minion, you don't have to take it. You can let it just kind of clutter up your opponent's board with Hungry Dragon. So, we'll see. We'll see. But, yeah. I like Hungry Dragon. I want to see where he goes. He's another card kind of like Grim Patron. And I think he's basically Priest's version of Grim Patron, where it's a card to watch. Is it busted? I don't really think it's busted. But it's certainly good, and I think in the right deck archetype, it's a pretty solid card. Next up we have Blackwing Technician. It is a 3-mana 2/4 with a battle cry of if you're holding a dragon, gain +1/+1. That's pretty crazy good if you're going to make some sort of dragon aggro deck for some class. I don't know what class exactly would use dragon aggro. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But if you curve out properly and you have like, you know, Fairy Dragon, Hungry Dragon, and Blackwing Technician, you drop a Fairy Dragon turn 2, that's fine, you've got a 3/2 that your opponent probably won't be answering, so you can clear the board. And now you've got a Hungry Dragon in hand, and on turn 3, because you're holding a Hungry Dragon, you can drop a 3/5 minion. That's the best stats on a 3-drop that Hearthstone has ever seen. And I don't know, that's just good. I mean, a 3-mana 2/4 is certainly much worse. That's why Goblin Sapper isn't played. But Goblin Sapper is only bad because he interacts based on your opponent's hand size. And there's no guarantee that your opponent will have, you know, a certain hand size for Goblin Sapper to become a big minion. Whereas with Blackwing Technician, it works off of your hand, so you can kind of sculpt your hand to make Blackwing Technician usable. And in a Dragon deck archetype, you know, that's pretty good. So yeah, Blackwing Technician has a lot of potential as one of the new best 3-drops, and I think that's just a really solid card. And I think it depends on what minions are going to further be released, because Hearthstone does not have enough really powerful dragons in an aggro deck type right now to make that viable. But assuming Blackrock gives us enough aggro dragons, and we would only need, like, we've already got one. We would only need, like, maybe 3 or 4 more. Blackwing Technician could be really, really good, just like the whole mech archetype was for Mage. And I don't know if the Dragon aggro deck would fall under Mage too. I hope not, because Mage already has enough stuff it can go through with Freeze, Fatigue, Mech, and just straight-up control. But yeah. Blackwing Technician's kind of cool, and maybe even we'll get finally a Priest aggro deck that's like a Steel Priest aggro deck, so it's just the aggro deck that beats other aggro decks. I actually would love that. That'd be so much poetic justice. Ooh, that's tasty, if that happens. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Last up is the Dark Iron Skulker, a 5-mana 4/3 rogue class minion, with a battlecry of deal 2 damage to all undamaged enemy minions. That's interesting, because being a 5-mana 4/3 means his stats are 3-drop status, which basically means your battlecry is a worse version of Explosive Trap, which really just means you're kind of getting an injured Blade Master that can't be healed, fused with an Explosive Trap, for the same total mana cost of both. With a chance for Explosive Trap to just straight up miss the enemy minions. I think this is a swing and a miss. And this has happened twice to Rogue now, because during Naxxramas, Rogue got the Anubar Ambusher, which was pretty ridiculous stats for a 4-drop in being a 5/5, but its Death Rattle of return one of your minions to your hand basically means if your opponent kills the Anubar, he'll deal with one of your other minions at the same time. So, Anubar was not good. And Dark Iron Skulker, I mean, I guess it's got potential because Rogue doesn't have a lot of ways to board clear. Sure, they've got Fan of Knives and Blade Flurry, but I don't know. I don't consider that to be a excessive amount of board wipe. I guess it's more than the average class has, because Hunter doesn't have better board wipe, and neither does Warrior. You just have Brawl. But Priest having Light Bomb, Holy Nova, Wild Pyromancer, Auchenai Circle, you've already got 4 ways to basically wipe boards. This would give Rogue a really kind of third way to do it. I don't know. I don't really like the Skulker. Because one of the strategies against Rogue anyway is to try to keep your minions damaged so they can't get backstabbed, which would basically set up a free combo chain for your opponent. So if you have, even say let's go with the Hungry Dragon. You play a Hungry Dragon and then you just swing into the 1-drop that is played. Now you have a damaged Hungry Dragon which your opponent can't backstab, which means your opponent also can't use backstab to set up a combo with SI7 Agent to just kill your Hungry Dragon. So I mean, you're already playing with minions ever so slightly damaged if you can against Rogue to try to stop backstab to prevent combos being set up, and Dark Iron Skulker rewards people for playing with ever so slightly damaged minions even more, which is already what you want to do against Rogue. So I don't think that card is going to see play in Constructed. From an arena standpoint, you guys know I'm not an arena player. I can't give real feedback on arena, but yeah. Let's see, what else about Blackrock? Hmm. Oh. You do get a new board that's being added, just like with Naxxramas, which is the... I'm not sure what they're actually calling it. I don't think it's Ragnaros' Hammer. I don't think they're calling it the Ragnaros' Hammer board. I know the board has Ragnaros' Hammer on it. See if I can find a picture. Here we are. The Blackrock Mountain game board, basically. So, yeah. We get a new game board with that. We get new card backs. A special pre-order card back in case you're made of money, which I guess I'll never get, but I'll get these two for sure. And the other thing is there's no free wing this time, unlike with Naxxramas, where we got into the, I think it was Arachnid quarter for free. You have to buy all these wings, which you can do with gold or with money, but yeah. You have to buy all the wings in some way. So, I'll definitely be doing that, and I will make a run through it as only Priest to add to my collection of an all-Priest Naxxramas clear, even on Heroic. So, I will do an all-Priest Heroic clear of Blackrock too. And it will take probably quite a while, but yeah. Oh, hang on. Okay, I did not hear this before. I guess also just as a fun thing for you guys, Hearthstone Mobile is in testing right now. They're working on that. So, get ready for people misclicking even more. Excuse me. Yeah. But Blackrock is more of a dragon adventure mode, so I know dragons are going to be a big part of what is released, and that's pretty cool. So, warriors and priests I can already see getting some nice benefits. Or, it's possible for warriors and priests to get some nice benefits. It depends on what the rest of the cards released are, but so far I'm liking Blackrock, and quite honestly, I loved Naxxramas. I did not like the GVG release because the entire thing with Naxxramas is if you build up enough gold, you can run through the wings, you get the cards guaranteed. With GVG, you got the same problem as with normal mode, where if you're a free-to-play person, you have to grind out so much gold to try to just buy packs and hope you can RNG it into the cards you need. Because the entire thing with buying packs is, well, you can get duplicates of the same cards, whereas with this PvE mode, you get 2 of the one card and you'll never have to earn that card again. You got it. There's no chance of you clearing the next wing and getting that same card as opposed to a different card you needed still. So, I'm hyped for Blackrock. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you when the next set of Blackrock cards are spoiled. Take care, guys.